Today on the Sauna Bench, we visit with Anya and Dan Bondarenko from the Banya House in the outskirts of Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, USA. Dan is Latvian with Ukrainian family heritage, and Anya is 100% Ukrainian. Her town has been completely destroyed from the Putin invasion, but we stay away from that conversation and instead focus on Anya, who is a nutritionist, and a key area of her work is with plant-based medicine. We gather in their outdoor backyard sauna, or I should say Banya, the Banya House, Prior Lake, Minnesota. The design, size, and structure is comparable to the 612 Sauna Society sauna, a sauna that I had a big part in building, so I was very comfortable in the Banya House. The heat is kick-ass, as is the spiritual patina, as is the fabulous Latvian-style Pertis Venic treatment. In this episode, we learned the difference between sauna and banya. The answer? Spoiler alert, it's not that different. That said, we detail the nuances, and the difference lies within the two biggest measures of hot room climate, temperature and humidity. Where some orthodox sauna preachers claim the importance of tall ceilings and the löyly pocket, we get a very different approach of good hot room climate with Dan and Anya. Sauna in nature is bigger than all of us, and with Banya, we bring nature into the Banya. Nature plays a big part in Slavic Banya. Essences, teas, Venic whisks are all front forward with Banya climate and culture. So, without further ado, please welcome Anya and Dan to Sauna Talk. This show is brought to you by Viking Floating Saunas. The floating sauna revolution is being televised, and no more so than aboard a Viking floating sauna. A collaboration between Sauna Times, Prairie Wood Sauna Company, and Flagship Pontoons, Viking floating saunas are being launched right now, serving the North America floating sauna enthusiast in you. I've experienced floating saunas all over Northern Europe, and whether your cabin has vertical hardship or pain-in-the-ass setback requirements, or you have the early adopter vision to expand the joy of thermal goodness 3 steps off your dock, Viking Floating Sauna is your answer. Viking Floating Saunas don't mess around. They know how to build quality, stable pontoons, and they know about weight dispersal, Coast Guard regulations, and how to turn a rainy day at the cabin into a family reunion of smiles and euphoria. Ask anyone from age 2 to 92. 3 steps off your sauna bench and a plunge into a cold lake may be about the best idea you've ever heard. For more on Viking Floating Saunas, visit saunatimes.com and read about the floating sauna revolution. It's here, it's now, and I'm excited to help make it happen for you. Well, greetings. Another episode of Sauna Talk, and what I love about this one is husband and wife. I'd like to introduce Anya and Dan to Sauna Times and Sauna Talk. And Anya, where are we right now? And tell listeners a little bit about yourself.
My name's Anya. I'm Dan's wife, and we are in Prior Lake, Minnesota, and I was born in Ukraine, Bakhmut, which doesn't exist anymore. I was brought here, and so that's sort of the background. My parents brought me here, and yeah.
How old were you when you came to Minnesota?
We actually moved to Washington first, and I was 10 years old.
Got it. So you've lived here for how long?
I'm 37 now, so over 20 years.
Over 20 years. Over to you, Dan.
Yeah.
You have Ukrainian parents, right? So your wife is Ukrainian and you are 100% Ukrainian.
Yeah, so both my mom and dad are from Ukraine, and they just met in a different country where I was born, in Riga, Latvia.
Cool. And both of you moved to, you've both been in Minnesota for 20 years.
Yeah. We've been in Minnesota just shy of 30 years now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So Prior Lake is an ex-suburb kind of a thing, south of Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And Dan, explain for listeners where we're sitting right now and what this is.
So we're sitting inside our Banya unit in Prior Lake in our backyard, overlooking trees and wilderness and just being one with nature. And we're sitting in the changing room of our trailer, and we have an equal size hot room in front of us.
Absolutely. And this is, I was explaining before we hit record about how I love to do Sauna Talk episodes on the sauna bench. And when I say sauna bench, is that okay? Or do you prefer I say the Banya bench for this one, Anya?
Probably the correct idea where you're trying to get out there is Banya. And it's a tad different than sauna, so I think it would be...
Okay, so we are on the Banya bench. And
today's the Banya bench.
And explain the difference, Dan, well, you can expand on this as much as you'd like. So sauna and Banya, different experiences.
So, I guess the basic science would be with sauna. We'll start with that. It's most familiar to people. It's going to be between 170 and 190 degree temperature with less than 20% humidity overall. And sometimes you'll see only 5 to 10% humidity inside the room. Banya is a lower temperature. We're running between 120 and 140 degrees tops, and we're shooting for 60% humidity. And basically it's the equilibrium between steam and heat inside the facility. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're bringing your steam way up and your heat, meaning the temperature, down.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is this a universality, or is this how you guys like Banya climate?
I think it's a very I want to say old school, or like it's a system of the forefathers that is it's still being used. It's in Eastern Europe and Central Asia and Russia especially. This is where it's very predominant setup for a steam bath. It's not so much a Finnish style sauna. It's very much steam, and Venix is probably a guaranteed that you're going to receive Venix in a banya. It's part of the regime.
Right. Now, a lot of Eastern Europeans, Russians, Ukrainians like really high heat sauna sometimes, or banya. But that's a different thing, right?
Yep.
I mean, explain for us that element, and I'll just share one other thing is I'm good friends with the guys up in Tower, Minnesota with the Kuma, and a lot of Russians by the Eastern Europeans, including other countries,
Slavics.
but the Slavics love a lot of Slavics love really high heat. So can you explain that element?
So one of the biggest differences between the stoves used for either component. So for sauna, it's a lot of mass, and then it's a lot of rocks that provide good ambient heat, and you can pour water over it, creating great steam, right? In the banya style, you have a little different heat diagram, so to say, set up, where you have a inner rock chamber where you build the heat up in those rocks that they're almost scorching red, and your steam not quality, but your steam characteristics are very different.
Yeah.
So this is when you're using a exposed rock steam, we'll call it that, exposed rock steam, you're going to get a denser, more of like a boiling water steam. When you use a inner chamber, you get a it's invisible and it's very soft. I've only had one chance to use a stove similar to that, and it is a complete different experience. Mm-hmm. Just on the surface level from what I was able to scratch at.
Right. Yeah. And Anya, you like the softer, cooler hot room, right?
I do. It's very family friendly. We all, with our 2 kids, we will pack in there, and we enjoy the heat and the benefits of it and Vainiki, and it's one of the benefits of Banya is it is family friendly, that even young kids can enjoy it as well.
And your children are how old right now?
Camila is 5 and Louis is 4.
And do they partake with the Veniki and the whole experience?
Oh, for sure.
Too?
Yeah. Yeah. Louis, well, both of them, like we do, like obviously a lighter regime than adults would. And they like to copy that and do it on me or do it on him. So they are definitely interested in this, and we make it as a game. And they enjoy the process, and obviously they feel their bodies. And when they're too warm, like they feel free to get out, and they do.
For sure. And do they like the cold?
So the first we introduced them to cold last year. The contrast, and there was a lot of, usually we did the feed only, and it was a lot of yelling right now, like they would do it on their own. They just dip and get out, and it's amazing to see how the body adapts to they learn, they know what's going on, and they trust their bodies to tell them when to get out.
And they see their parents, right? And
sure.
It's a very natural experience to go from hot to cold.
It is.
In this environment. Staying with you, Anya, tell us about your teas and some of the other aspects that you bring to this Banya experience.
Yeah, for sure. So once as a family, and Dan was a huge proponent of this to do Banya, I started doing research on, because I'm a dietitian by profession, and just the aspect of food or what we intake. And hydration in Banya or sauna, for that matter, is huge because we lose a lot of through heat, and then the sweating. Yes. So I started doing research of what can we do to replenish that back, because if we don't, then you're gonna have a hangover the next day, or headaches, or just your body's not gonna do well with doing it very often. So that's how I came up with a blend of herbs, and I like herbs a lot. I turn to them for many reasons, for colds or just immune boosting. So that's how this Banya blend came to life. And it has many benefits so Banya is mostly detoxing. It helps to detox, and so the teas that I put together, they do the detoxing and they do the eliminating and remineralizing, because our bodies are so amazingly smart that they will pull what needs to be pulled at a different times. So if you're in the start of the Banya and you need to detox and your organs need to detox, if you're drinking the tea, it will pull out the tea that is needed for the detox. And then as you continue drinking it, it will do the eliminating and then the remineralizing. So that's why it's I had success, and people were asking for them to take it home, and I wasn't ready for that, because it is definitely a commitment to produce on demand. So, and I'm finally ready for that, and kids are a little older, and my Dan supports and helps, so.
Well, I am ready for that as well. I think you are on the cusp of something really significant with a hydrating tea. I'd love to dive into that a little further.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So when I'll tell you one quick story. So we have 2 saunas, one in my backyard in Minneapolis and the other at our cabin in the way north toward Ely, Minnesota. And same sauna, same temperatures. When I would sauna up north, I would not be fatigued. When I would sauna in Minneapolis, I'd be really fatigued, but not like, like I want to lay on the couch and watch a hockey game fatigued, nothing really negative. But I got to thinking to myself, what's the difference here? And what I realized was, at home in Minneapolis, I was drinking just the water out of our reverse osmosis system, and then I switched over to just drinking water out of the garden hose, and it changed overnight right there. My sauna sessions by drinking the city tap water became much better in terms of my energy levels after sauna. And so I deduced that this reverse osmosis system is pulling all the minerals out of the water. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah.
Am I on it?
Yeah, correct. That's the beauty of reverse osmosis is clean water, and completely clean means it's empty. So once it enters your body, just because we do have a not a reverse osmosis, but there's an osmosis in our bodies between our cells and the empty water that comes in, then you become even more hydrated because it pulls out of the cells into the empty water that you're just drinking, and so ultimately it is dehydrating you even more.
Thank you. I've known this intuitively, and you said it the most clear way that I can understand. When I see people bike riding around the City of Lakes, and then they have that bottled water like, Aquafina or whatever, I think it's a dehydrant.
Yeah, for sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they drink lots of water, but really they're drinking water that is dehydrating their body.
Yeah, it's like
It's not cell replenishing, is what it is, right?
It is not, and it's more like of a advertising move.
Yeah, exactly.
And you sell water, and water is easy to sell, but then it's empty water.
Empty water. Yeah. Well, to the positive, your tea, I think, is really something that people need, especially in this channel, this vertical of sweat therapy, sauna. It's like heavy exercise or sweating like crazy, and so with you as a dietitian that understands about replenishment and hydration and what happens at the molecular level within your cells, I think you're on the cusp of something wonderful, and you're doing this not through. I brought some powders down of hydration powders, but you're doing this through nature.
Yeah, for sure.
Through herbs.
Yeah, because that is herbs were created for us. And a lot of stuff that we isolate is basically we isolate from herbs. And we just isolate them, take them as a simple one ingredient, where in reality we need that like a full compound of things in order for our bodies to accept it and not disregard it as something alien to them. And herbs is wonderful because it has vitamins and minerals that are full. So your body it's like a lock and a key. It knows what to do with it.
We're going to go right over to Dan here in a moment about this banya that we're sitting in and the mechanics of it. But I want to stay on this. This. Can you share with listeners an ingredient with your tea or an approach you have to the recipe that can give us a little bit more of a clue as to what you've created in the Banya tea?
For sure. So I have, from my experience and people who come to Banya and just out in society, we are all, for the most part, 99.9% inflamed. We have some sort of inflammation that is in us. Something is going on just because of where we live and what we eat. So my Banya tea has a lot of herbs, and they work as in synergy, so they work off of each other as well. So a lot of herbs are antimicrobial, and these are, I will list them.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
And
there's no rush. When you say antimicrobial, can you explain that?
Yeah, so we have alien microbes that we either inhale or we ingest, or just the disbalance of microbes that is in our digestive tract, because our digestive tract is our second brain. Basically, that's how we function. If it doesn't function well, we don't function well. Mm-hmm. So stress is a huge culprit of this digestive problems and the inflammatory processes that we have inside. So, and then being winter, usually Banya happens over winter, we usually have a cold or we have some other things that we go through. So, in these antimicrobial teas that I have here, so ingredients would be elderflower would be a very good one. So we know elderberry, elderflower is what comes before that, and so it has a lot of good benefits and to do the anti-inflammatory. Mucosal support is another thing because we inhale in banya, and so to support the mucosal support that we have would be mullein or comfrey or nettle. So that's all present in the tea. Then lymph and immune system is another one that the tea will help, and then detox. And so I would just concentrate on nettle is one of them, and nettle is a powerhouse, and we have it probably in our garden here.
Cool.
That would be a good remineralize after everything the detox is done. It will remineralize the body with vitamins and minerals.
Dan, do you drink your wife's tea like with banya typically or all the time?
I do. So I actually get a unique blend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab some and sip some too. It's a unique blend she makes specifically for me. That's for cooling, because I'm physically working, exerting energy inside the hot room, the banya. So this is a tea that she created for cooling the internals. So when I drink it, I get a very cooling effect to the body. This is also one of her unique contraptions that she's put together.
And also hydrating, I would take.
It is very hydrating and cooling, because teas, and in the banya blend I do have a little bit of what he's drinking, but he has more. And if the body needs to cool with the banya tea, it will draw those herbs to cool, or if it needs to warm up, it will warm up. So I have both of them in there, and they don't contradict each other.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So herbs have an ability to cool you down as well.
Yeah. So day jobs. Let's go on to that a little bit. So you mentioned you're a dietitian.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about your role in your day job, so to speak.
My day job right now is being a mom.
Okay.
So I have left my job when Camila was born, and Dan was supportive enough to let me stay and be a full-time mom. So that's what I do. And on the side, I do lots of, like, being a dietitian, I'm not on the payroll, but definitely I am more of an herbalist now, and the research continues. So that's what I do on a side. And I do lots of from scratch cooking, so that takes a lot of time.
She's a dietitian for the whole family at the moment.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Dan, and how about you? What is your day?
I am a inspector for a civil engineering firm on the daytime, and I try to work hard through the summer so that way I can get my winters off. So,
A lot of people do it the other way around.
Yeah, but banya, as we know it, is best enjoyed late fall, winter, and early spring.
So those of you listening not from Minnesota, which people listen to Sauna Talk from all over and stuff, but I'll just frame things up that this is now 2023, where we had a really full winter, an epic winter. Now a lot of people say, "Oh my God, we had a terrible winter," but it depends. But I mean, we had snow that arrived before Thanksgiving that didn't leave until just a few days ago. How has your backyard sauna or banya changed the way that you, as a family, with husband, wife, 2 young children, how has this build that you've done changed your outlook to winter and the way you get through a long winter in Minnesota?
Yeah, that's a good question. So one of the things that I hear a lot from friends visiting out of state to Minnesota is, how the heck do you guys do this? Because in reality, we have winter probably 6, sometimes unfortunately 7 months out of the year, And my wife came from California initially to Minnesota, and so it's a huge shock. So people ask, how do you get through it? And one of my local true Minnesotan friends is like, you just find ways to enjoy winter. And banya, or sauna for that matter, is a way to really enjoy winter. Having the ability to create this epic contrast between the two is chemically euphoric for the body.
Totally, and also the psychology of it. I mean, to have this on your own property, how many acres do you guys have?
We are currently on just shy of 10 acres right now.
Massive. I mean, and you have all this nature around you, and what an experience. I mean, I have my own backyard thermal retreat, let's call it.
Yeah.
And to me, there's nothing more magical than you look at the weather and it's, oh my gosh, it's going to snow again today, and you're like a little kid. You're like, bring it on, and then you can walk in your case, many steps out your back door to this wonderful oasis.
Yes.
It really expands the footprint of your property and gets the kids out of the house for you occasionally, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think ever since we moved and we just recently made out here in October, I think we very quickly became okay with dressing the kids up 2 to 3 times a day to go outside.
Yeah.
One, it's either going to be too cold where they stay out there for only up to an hour or whatnot, or we come out and we're here for 3-4 hours and we're sweating and running around profusely, dragging each other around on sleds to enjoy the winter.
Enjoy your land,
yeah,
too.
And having Banya afterwards to come into, to warm up, to relax. And sometimes the kids are the ones who are telling us, hey, let's do Banya and make sure we have a plunge to go into.
And you guys are no stranger to wood-fired Banya sauna. You have one in your house as well, right?
Yes, we were graced with a sauna in the house. So our house was built by first-generation Finns. And it blew us away. We had no idea because it was not listed in the posting. So when we came out here and saw it, it blew us away. We have a beautiful old Nipah stove that is similar to the Kuma. They're both just ruthless in their temperatures and heat radiance that they provide, and we love it. It's just...
Do you ever fire, Anya, do you ever fire up the sauna in the house on your own, or is it usually
No.
Dan running the show?
No, I had, when I was a kid, I almost blew up a town, so I usually don't do well with fire.
Is growing up, was Banya a big part of the culture in your town? Is it a popular thing in Ukraine?
Yeah, it is, but it's mostly public.
Yeah.
So we have public banyas where people would go, not only high-end people would have one on their property. So we, as kids, we did not go to a public one, but as we grew older, or when we were going back, we did mission trips back to Russia and Ukraine, and we would visit banyas, and it was always part of me, but not always on the property.
Right. So you would go to public ones?
Yes.
You're saying? Yeah. How much? Do you remember how much it is or was to go to a public banya?
Oh, it was cheap. It was
Yeah.
like probably 2 loaves of bread. It was very cheap.
Yeah, I know that from the culture.
Did you notice the currency, 2 loaves of bread?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed out that too. So that was a barter system.
Not really, but it's more like to a currency.
Yeah,
or
right.
to people.
So an equivalent, growing up, like less than $1 kind of a thing, a couple dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
Ukrainian,
Yep.
for Ukraine for sure. Less than
How would the proprietor make money on that volume, or was it subsidized by the town, or how?
Yeah, it was a town thing. It's part of the culture, and it wasn't there to make money. It was just there for people to use, and a lot of, especially 30 years ago, not everyone had plumbing in their house, so people would go to enjoy banya and then have a hot shower.
Yeah, it was literally a bathhouse.
Yeah.
Bathhouse.
Yeah, it was very purpose driven.
Was there a day of the week that was pretty traditional growing up for you for Banya?
So if church was on Sunday, usually we go on a Friday or a Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, so much on that. I mean, these electric indoor saunas have become such a big thing, but I think when you think about culturally, it was a community thing. A lot of it out of necessity, because you mentioned the plumbing and just the frugality of the time. Some of that's kind of lost now, as people have their own indoor.
Everything's convenience based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remote. You can turn it on with Wi-Fi. And,
Yeah.
I've been taking a lot of solo saunas, and it's interesting since COVID. My whole routine has really changed, and I'm not so happy about it. But pre-COVID, whenever I would know it was a day for sauna, I would usually toss an email out to some friends, and whoever would show up would show up. But it's so strange for me. I don't know if I'm getting old or whatever, but I've been taking a lot more solo saunas, and I have to get back more into, I think, the social thing. But you guys are wrapped up with a lot of family time, right, out here?
Yeah, if it's not immediate family with Anya and I and the kids, then it's our close family, and then close friends. I think wintertime we had a record 9 back-to-back days of Banya.
And these 9, are you part of that, Anya? 100% of the time, half the time?
For the most part, I am in and out. I usually do the back end of make sure there's tea, make sure there are towels and things like that. So when there are people, I do a lot of the servicing because Dan does a lot of Vanikin, so I'm more in the in and out. But if there's time, definitely I will sit down and enjoy the
And this is when you're doing Banya as how do you say it, as a service for clients, right? Or just
it's
friends?
Probably more
too.
just friends, yeah. Because that's how it started off. Where it I would say it grew into a business. It started off as a passion, and I felt like we really got our friends and family acquainted with what it feels like to have Banya and how different it is. So, brief background to what we had mentioned. What kind of hot heat do they like? A really hot sauna or Banya, the Slavic culture. And I feel like in the States here, when we came and we were experiencing Banya, it was, to some extent, it was like purgatory. I mean, you come in there, it's 200, 205, and and all the men in there are like, yes, this is what it should be. And you walk in and your ears shrivel and you lose half your hair, and you're like, how are you supposed to enjoy this? You're in there for 30 seconds at a time. So, and that's what I was exposed to growing up too. It was always a lot of high heat and ladles upon ladles upon ladles of water on the rocks. And so that was a very big difference. When we introduced Banya, a much more casual, this relaxing, detoxing regime, it was a game changer for probably 90% of the people that ever came out here.
And that, just to drill into that, that's 130, 140 tops.
Yep. So we're shooting for that. They call it the 120 equilibrium. So if you have 100 degree temperature, so we'll say Celsius. The formula is built off of Celsius. So if we have 100 degrees Celsius, we want to have 20% humidity. If we have 80 degrees Celsius, we want 40% humidity. If we have 60 degrees Celsius, we want 60% humidity. So we're always shooting for that 120 equilibrium.
Interesting. 120, which is the addition of the temperature in Celsius and the percent humidity.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And you like it less hot, more steam, right, Anya?
Oh, that for sure. I am more in tune with my body, and I was never a fan of high heat. And when we just started doing this, the build and first saunas were very hot. I would be like on the bottom bench, and like I do not like this. And then that's when we started researching, because sadly, the idea of Banya was even lost in the Slavic culture with the hit of sauna. Sauna just took over the world. So Banya idea, the old-fashioned one that we're not the only ones, but there are people who are very passionate to bring the actual old-fashioned Banya back. And the real Banya is that what Dan has explained, and it feels nice on the body. Feels very detoxing. Your body is not in fight or flight mode. It actually can relax and detox and regenerate, and that's what Banya is meant to do.
Yeah. Can we bounce around some ideas?
Please.
So remember how we talked about the difference in a difference in people that chase one or the other. Remember we were talking about why a sauna at least might be more predominantly taking over in the U.S., at least at the given moment, and why Banya in different areas of the world is more predominant. One of the factors that we were looking at was work and stress load, right? Correct. Was how heavy burdened you are, right? So to some extent it was, we'll say, correct me if I'm wrong if I remember our conversation, where we were talking about people that are exerting a lot of energy and still sweating some throughout the day, but just on high demand, give. At the end of the day, they're looking to just coast. They're looking to just relax. They're not looking for extremes. They're just looking for this happy median, right? And in the U.S., we feel from observation, it seems like we are very high pace. We're very high stress, right? We were talking about this today too, that sometimes when you're always running at this high stress, your body is not quite able to read
The temperature.
the temperature, right? This hot environment that you're in sauna between 160 and 190 plus. So you have this craving. You get this. Andrew Huberman talks about this adrenaline rush that you get, right, from this high heat that you're experiencing. So we see different cultures have different.
It's not even cultures. It's more. Well, I guess
Lifestyles.
Lifestyles,
yes.
lifestyles, right?
Yeah, so riffing on that, like if one is living a fast-paced lifestyle, I get this concept of like power sauna. They want to go in and it's hot, they want to sweat, and in a health club or whatever, they're going to try to maximize that through high heat.
Yes.
And they don't have much time. They got a half an hour, after their workout.
Yep.
And so they want to power it.
Yep.
A power.
And a big factor that in the U.S. here we're very, very high pace,
Yeah.
and we see that more now probably in the last year with different refugees and people coming from overseas. They have this. To some extent, you can almost envy them. They have this super chill, super relaxed. They don't worry about a thing. They come, they chill, they eat. There's no rush.
Yeah.
And you're like, when do you go to work? It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Maybe by 11 I'll go to the office. And you're like, what the heck? Like, how are you going to make it out here, man?
Yeah.
Like, you got to go.
Yeah.
And here in America, I mean, we're go-getters.
Yeah.
We're literally go-getters. So we're at a complete different pace of
True.
Of life, environment around us. I feel like in America and here in the States, we have to learn to unwind, to forget that solo time. Maybe the COVID really paid a good toll on people to find that quiet time, find that inner peace, be able to be content.
True.
And the unique thing is we actually notice that in the workforce right now, at least with contractors out in the field, 40 to 50 hour weeks when it used to be 60 to 80 hour weeks, guaranteed 60 to 80 hour weeks. Now they'll get 50 and they're totally content.
Yep.
Sometimes they'll work 40s and be like, yes, please, don't even give me more.
Well, there's something to that. How long is a Banya session for you guys as a family? For example, just say there's not guests coming, it's just you guys. Like how long from from when you start to when you're done?
So we've done, I guess let's take on average. So our first session, let me go back. Let me walk through what our typical session
Please
was,
do.
and then I'll say what we go with. So our typical session that we do is a 3-part. We go on for our first round. Your first round is usually the longest. It's where we're trying to keep as ambient of a temperature. We're really fluctuating between that 120 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Upkeeping humidity. We use a lot of aromatherapy through that time period. And that first session can last anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. And we're just gradually bringing the body up to temp.
And are you laying down and doing the Venic at that time?
No. So our first session is we want to bring the body to an equal temp. So you're laying down. We want to make sure there's even heat distribution throughout your whole body. And then we'll rotate front to back just to keep both sides going even. Then we come out for a very brief, subtle cool down, right?
But no cold.
No cold at that time. So one of the philosophies there is we don't want to quite shock the body because we have not yet heated up our core. That is the most important part that we're shooting for. And maybe you can touch up on that, why we chase the different core temperatures of the core and the externals once I talk about Venix and how we apply that. So we go out for a cool down session. That could be 10-15 minutes, no drastic, massive cold exposure. Just cool your body down comfortably. Don't get yourself down to your norm,
right? But
bring your body temperature down where you're comfortable, but you're not excruciating hot. Then we go on for a second round. Our second round is very focused on. I use different Venix, so different whisks or branch bundles. Linden is a very predominant one that we use on our second round. It provides a very dense, hot pack. So we use those and just apply them to your center core for your organs because we want to warm up.
And you have hot water and cold water for the Venix, correct?
Yes. So when I'm actually providing the Venic treatment with oak, I want to make sure that I have cold water present for them, because if they start drying up, then I'm just going to break down the Venic, and I'm going to end up just giving you a whisking with branches.
Yeah, right.
So I want to make sure the leaves stay moist but not dry, and the cold water helps bring them back to temperature. It helps them hydrate well as well.
Linden, oak. What other species Venic do you work with?
We use birch, balsam fir. We have some spruce that's laying in the banya right now just as a mat for aromatherapy. So that was phase 2 where we go in for the hot packs. Then phase 3 is in between there. We also do another brief cool down session. Phase 3, we come in for a more brighter, steamier, and more brief. We're shooting between 7 and 15 minutes for that Venic treatment, where we get one side of the body, rotate you over, get the other.
And that's right where I'm at.
Yes.
I'm right. We're in pause for that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic.
So the big focus of the Venics and why we use it, and wife, you can take over of what we're trying to achieve by using Venics.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why we have them, first of all, it creates vibration to the muscle. So you have a vibration that, and it releases tension, stagnant muscles, and the idea is then to equally heat the body from the peripherals to the center. And that helps to, so once the body's heated, what happens to the blood, it will rush to the outside, to the peripheral of the body, as it's heating to keep the body cool on the inside. So that is
to talk about the content of blood that is currently on your extremities, and then what happens once you're when you're
plunging.
No, not when you're plunging. When you're building the sensation and you're rushing the blood to the extremities, right? Because you go over the numbers of how much blood is currently out there,
yes.
And then once you start Venic treatment, what happens and how much blood then ends up present.
So on the average day, you have about 100 to 200 grams of blood flow on the peripheral of the body. So when we heat up in Banya and we do Veniki, it increases to about 2 liters. So that's how the slow cooling, when your body is in a parasympathetic mode. So it does not happen when your body's in a sympathetic mode. And that's the big difference between Banya and sauna, is you have to feel, the body has to feel safe in order to detox. If it's not safe, it will not do that. So when a safe zone and when the body's ready, that's what happens. So the blood will rush to the peripheral to protect the organs from the heat, and it's so sudden, so it doesn't feel any dangers.
Right.
So, and that's the beauty of, after that, then doing the plunge.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the Venic session is over and you go plunging, the body, what happens, the vessels constrict and the blood flow rushes back into the organs. And by this rush, what happens is you elasticate all the vessels and everything in there, and then you break all the plaque, cholesterol, anything that's on there. So
let's touch on that for a moment. You're saying that is it about blood movement through your system?
Correct.
About the as it expands and contracts and pushes from the limbs and then back to the core.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so when you're in the cold, it's the opposite effect, where the blood is rushing to protect the core, the organs in the core. And so why is that movement of blood so significant?
It causes regeneration to the blood flow is not the same in each organ. So you just cause it to be on the outside, and now you're causing it to be on the inside. So that exchange has a lot, and it has on the renewal level, DNA level, and just it has a lot of potential for the elastic. Are you talking about the elasticity? Yeah, the elasticity of the vessels. Yeah. By contracting and
I didn't know any of this stuff, like I didn't know the whole like biochemistry aspect of it, but I talk about the rubber band theory about expansion and contraction, and I thought of it more in the context of muscles, right, which is certainly an obvious benefit of contrast therapy, right? But you're talking about something a lot deeper, and it has to do with blood flow.
Correct.
But there's something more beyond blood flow that happens through this contrast therapy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cell regeneration is one of the biggest things is through this drastic contrast, right? It's only it's survival of the fittest at this point, right? So which is very, very beneficial for your body because you are killing off weak cells, and a lot of weak cells in that manner are compromised cells.
Yeah.
So that it helps. I can't say it eliminates, but it definitely helps prevent a lot of illnesses or a lot of cell-borne illnesses, and cancer being for that matter, because you're regenerating your cells within your body, which is massive benefits to you.
Fantastic. I almost want to ask you more questions, but I'm not intelligent enough to ask. Is there anything more on this that you'd like to share on this topic? This is fascinating to me. We're talking about herbs,
yes,
and how they complement the hot and the cold and the contrast therapy. Is there anything more that we haven't talked about in relation to herbs? Anya, you're very well researched in this with your tea. Have you done research on it as much as you've done trial and error, or how have you tuned this mastery of herbs within your modality of teas and as it relates to Banya?
Definitely a lot of research. I do rely on research of other people. That it's a nice shortcut to then doing your own trial and error. Then just seeing the needs of other people and knowing that specifically. And for the most part, a lot of herbs, what I see, a lot of herbs have the same, they give off the same benefits. Like, for example, being antimicrobial or providing that anti-inflammatories. Now, 80 to 90% of the herbs out there will do that to some extent. Some will do it to maybe a lesser, some will do it to a more extent. So that means to me that this is important for us to know that it was created out there for the benefit.
One of the things, every body is different. Does this parallel with herb treatments? Like, do you look into how people's symptoms are different and different recipes based on different body makeup or different symptoms?
Yep. So there is actually Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine will go into constitutions. Every body has a specific constitution. Some people are they are warm naturally, and others are cold naturally, or more alkaline or more acid. And herbs that's why they work in a synergy, meaning that one herb will not work for you, but it will work for me. And that's why having a complex, it does good for everybody, because if something in that tea complex does not work for me, my body will not take it, but it will take another one that does the same thing, and then it will use it for its benefit.
Fascinating. It's so great to be here with you guys. I feel like I'm in another country, and I only drove 30 minutes to come to you tonight. I want to just chat a little bit more about your background and your place, and we are in a mobile sauna.
Yes.
And if you could have a mobile sauna, Anya, I'll start with you. What's the first place that comes to mind when you think about this entire large world where you would love to bring a mobile banya and partake in a banya experience? So is there a place in this world that you would love to do that?
If my hometown were exist, probably I'd bring it to my hometown. Just the idea of how relaxing and beneficial it is, and just to know that you can bring it there. So if that place would have existed, I would have brought it there.
I'm so sorry. Is it devastated? Just gone? No more?
Yep.
And all of your, the buildings are gone?
For the most part, they are. They're unlivable. So a lot of my relatives fled to either America, Germany, or just farther down in Ukraine where it's not as bad.
Yeah. Well, let's pray for that. One day maybe we could go back to your town, and get this war behind us and fix fix this place.
And bring Banya there.
Oh, that's a beautiful answer. Dan, how about yourself? Mobile Banya.
Mobile Banya anywhere.
Anywhere. We have one with wheels, so you can. But this is a global question for you. Is there a spot that comes to mind?
So to me, Banya, it has everything to do with contrast, and I think I would take it past the Arctic Circle, in a place that I can cut a hole, and maybe get some help cutting the deep ice out to plunge in, and I think I would place it anywhere in the Arctic Circle.
Right on.
And just have that massive, massive contrast.
If you could be there with one person, who's the first person that comes to mind that in this magical Banya moment that you would like to have a session with?
As cute as it sounds, I'd probably take my wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
All our high sauna moments have been together. All our high Banya moments have been together.
Oh, beautiful. Now the pressure's on you. But you're in your village and things are back to normal. Who would you like to be on the bench with in your magical mobile Banya dream?
Probably my sister,
Yeah.
Elizabeth. We are very close together, and we, in age and in relationship, I would want her there to experience it.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. As you think about, let's say you wake up in the morning and you know it's a day for Banya, what is we'll stay with you, Anya, on this one. What is your favorite moment? You know the routine, you have a routine, and it's not locked in stone, but is there a favorite moment that comes to mind for you during the entire day that you know that you're going to Banya and experience it and go to bed at night? Is there a favorite moment for you?
The prep work, definitely, and just prepping the tea. And usually I do believe in the power of words, so just saying a prayer or some positive words even over the tea that I make, and just, it would be beneficial for people that drink it. And another great moment for me is when I lay down on the bench and I know that it's done and actually enjoy it, enjoying the benefits.
Dan.
Oh, mine has got to be the peace before the peace before the storm. I like
he usually works,
Yeah.
so he does.
I get it.
For me, so
I
enjoy
understand.
it.
So for me, it's the prep work. It's the moment after everything is prepared, and I usually get this sweet. Sometimes it's 30 seconds. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Just me, Banya. I'm feeling the atmosphere, feeling the temperature, feeling the humidity, and I by that I mean literally feeling it. I use the thermometer and the hydrometer as a reference.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to understand with my body what that temperature and what that humidity feels like. So I become one. So that's my moment to really become one before I exert myself to provide this experience.
Do you consider that a round? Do you sweat and then cool down?
No. This is just I would say it's my time to inner focus, to gather myself. Sometimes it's a good day that brought me to that point. Sometimes it's a bad day. And emotions have everything to do with how you give and how you receive in Banya. And people radiate that to you and you radiate that to them. So it's very important to be clear-minded, to be relieved, released, and to be in almost like a moment of Zen approaching this, and both for the recipient and for the giver.
Thank you. Wow. I almost want to say thank you for being a part of Sauna Talk. It's such a beautiful ending. But I do have another question, or actually I have a couple more, and you guys are for sure free to expand if there's some things I didn't discuss. This is a lot. This is, I think, for a lot of listeners, we know sauna, and we like to think we know sauna, and some people are just kind of discovering this tradition of, call it sweat therapy, you are bringing a much more nuanced aspect to sauna and banya. What do you think is most misunderstood? And I think I know the answer. You guys touched on something that the traditional banya has, and forgive me for paraphrasing, but it's been lost. It's become high heat.
Yep.
And intensity training, but there's a different aspect to it. Is this the most misunderstood thing of banya, or what would you like others to know about this history, this culture, this tradition that they may not be aware of?
I would say the becoming of one with your emotions, your spirit, and your body, and just connecting all of these and bringing that harmony and peace to the body. That's what Banya is all about. And yes, it has a lot of benefits, but if a person that is, let's say for example me, when Dan is providing his Vainika and doing stuff, if I am stressed, if I am not there, my body will not do its diligence of detoxing or rejuvenating. But that's what Banya is providing, that peace and harmony to all three of our constituents in the body, to bring it all to heart, to a parasympathetic nervous system.
And what are the three constituents of the body?
So it's body, mind, and soul that we live in, and we just forget to attend to them or to make sure that they're well, because it is our body and we need to take care of it.
I would say misconceptions, right? Of banya. Low heat is all in your head. We get a lot of people that come in and they're coming in disappointed that you're only at 140 degrees or up to 140 degrees. And then I've had folks come in for the second round after their first warm-up. They come in, I add some steam, and they tell me, holy crap, Dan, this is really warm. And I tell them, do you want to go take a look at the thermometer? Tell me what it reads. 140 degrees. What did I tell you? You were right, Dan. The temperature, it'll get there. It's all about bringing yourself slowly up to speed. It's what's called positive rising graph. You want to slowly bring that temperature to grade, and you let your body get there at its pace. Somebody it's going to be 30 minutes, somebody it's going to be an hour for the first session. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception, is that low heat does not mean you're not going to be heated. It just means you're going to need to patiently wait, relax.
That's when body is calming down and reaching that zen.
That's that moment for you to really feel your body, to calm down, and to be patient with it. Let it warm up, and let it be in a natural, relaxed, ready to detox, ready to unwind phase.
Beautiful. Any final words? Any other thoughts for listeners to Sauna Talk that you'd like to share? This is a passion business for you.
Yeah.
This is a side thing that you're building for people that are open for this experience.
Yes, and I think that's the key right there, as you said it. This is truly an experience. This is Lifetime is great. I'm not comparing it much to Lifetime, but it is very different. Lifetime, you come in there, you're under your own control. You walk in, walk out. Your variables.
Lifetime
Health Club. Sorry, the Lifetime Health Club saunas. Very, very different environment. This is a full spa treatment. This is a true one-of-one experience. This is very, very different from anything out there. Sauna is its beautiful, unique own regime. Banya is likewise very different and own unique, one hell of an experience.
Beautiful. Did you guys final questions? I'm full of final questions, but did you guys meet knowing that you had this mutual love of Banya, or was this a catalyst to help your relationship?
So remember, this was before we were even dating. We were both at Lifetime. Banya or sauna there was one of the places, because we obviously had very different workout regimes and whatnot. But sauna was always a place we either met there before we hit the gym or we met there afterwards to just unwind. And it wasn't always just the two of us. It was random crowds of people, but a lot of Slavics where we would get together.
Yeah.
And that would be our time of zen. And
Yeah.
And
So you met on the sauna bench.
You could almost say we got to know each other really well on the sauna bench.
Oh, that's fantastic. And was it love at first sight?
Nope.
Not for me.
It took some time. We had to ride that wave just like the Banya.
Just
Slow
like
and steady.
a long round.
Slow and steady.
That's fantastic. And do you speak Russian at home, or what's your language you're speaking here?
I think so. Well, we were trying probably really hard, maybe up until the last year, to really focus on Russian at home because that's our predominant language. And I think right now we're probably flexing both ways, probably 50-50. Yeah, because we're focusing on a lot of schooling for the kids and helping them develop. So we're probably switching to probably a good balance of 50-50. And I think sooner than later we're probably going to be shifting to English with a little bit of Russian.
Yeah, and Anya, you're Ukrainian, but you, Dan, are Latvian.
Yes.
But you grew up speaking Russian. It was, Soviet-occupied Latvia.
Yeah.
Is this your primary? Tell us about your languages. How many?
So I speak English and Russian. I can understand Ukrainian, not so much Western Ukrainian because there's Eastern dialect and Western dialect. Western dialect is very Slovenian, Polish mix. And it's a lot harder to understand, at least to me, maybe not to you, but to me it's very hard to understand. And yeah, those are probably my two languages.
And Anya, your primary language is?
We did speak Russian because the area where we grew up in Bakhmut, it was closest to Russian. So Russian language and Ukrainian were both 50-50 spoken, but in our family we spoke Russian.
So you're trilingual.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating. Final words for listeners to Sauna Talk. I want to thank you guys for this wonderful experience and for opening my ears and eyes to the Banya. I've known about Banya. With Alex at B Saunas, I've had Venic treatments and stuff, but you've really taken this to a much deeper level for me, and I want to thank you for our visit tonight. I'll start with you, Dan. Final words for listeners to Sauna Talk about what has prompted you to do this. Like, what is your calling, and then I'll shoot it over to Anya. Go ahead.
So I think for us here at Banya House, our primary focus is for you to relax and detox. We're primarily focused on your body, for your body to heal, for your body to relieve itself of toxins, of unnecessary minerals and metals that shouldn't be present in you. So I think that's probably our main focus through Banya, and relaxation is a huge component that ties all that in together. We want you to be relaxed. I think what's very unique about our regime is it's very individualized. So today, my regime for you is going to be different from somebody that comes in later. And we tune it to your body, to your feels, to your desires at that given moment to make sure we find your happy median to bring you to that ultimate state of relaxation and detox when you're present here.
To pause in life, because those pauses can be detrimental to us in a positive way. And Banya, I believe, provides that pause moment when you are with yourself and with people that you like or you enjoy to be around, and that's usually around Banya. There are some emotions that evoke, that bring closeness to people that you would not enjoy or know anywhere else.